Hi, good morning. Thanks for tuning in to Cares Messiana. Alright, so I guess I can still say Happy New Year. Today is the end of the first month of the year, which is January 31st, and I think that I can still say Happy New Year. So, Happy New Year! Alright, today I'm going to be talking briefly on two ways we can use to challenge ourselves. Yes, because for me it's very important because I know that when 2020 was ending, some of us we had goals that we set for ourselves. We had not really, I won't call them resolutions. Personally, I didn't really make resolutions, but I set targets. Are they resolutions? Targets, resolutions? I don't think so. But I kind of like set some targets for myself that I want to achieve. I did it very little, like a quarter target and all those kind of stuff. So um in the process of setting targets or probably setting resolutions, there are ways, or there are things that we have to do to make them actually come to pass, or to make them come true, right? Yes, you and I know that if you say you set resolutions or you set target in the past years that have passed, there are reasons why we probably didn't meet them, or probably weren't able to get those resolutions that we actually set for ourselves. Reason being that probably because we're not resilient enough or persistent enough to do the needful, or the things that were required for us to actually be able to meet those targets. That could be one of the reasons why we actually didn't meet the resolutions or the target we set for ourselves in some of the years that have passed. Another thing could actually be that probably we actually did some things, maybe we did do enough, or maybe they didn't just work out, and because maybe one or two trials that we did, they didn't work out, and we just kind of like give up and like, I beg, I've done my best. God knows I've done my best, which is a very popular statement. God knows that I've done my best. So since I've done my best, why don't I just quit? Not really telling yourself you quit, but you just find out that you stop doing what you were doing before, or something you were supposed to do. So today I'm going to mention I say two, maybe two or three, depending on how, because I want it to be very brief, on how I feel we can actually challenge ourselves, ways we can actually challenge ourselves. But before I speak about these two things, which I believe we already know, on how we can actually challenge ourselves, one of the very key factor in setting targets, or setting goals, or setting resolutions, or setting whatever you want to actually set to kind of like proceed in the success cadre that you want, it's resilience. Resilience is very important because in the journey and in the process of trying to get to that point that you want to get to, there will be times you will feel very weary. Trust me, like you will feel so weary that you just feel like giving up. I think it happens to, it should be all, but I don't have statistics, but I believe it happens to most of us, that there are times that even when you are doing what you love, what you are passionate about, when you don't get the particular results that you want to get from that passion or from that thing that you love, you kind of like feel weariness. Not really because you don't have passion for that thing anymore, no, but because you are not getting the results that you want. So which is why resilience is very important and very key for us to have and to build, because we have to build it. Some people don't just have it at all, and you cannot just come. No, you have to actually build it. There are some activities you have to do to actually build your resilience, like to build it very strong in you, and you find yourself having it so much that irrespective of things that happen along the line, you are still having the energy to actually continue in doing them. Another thing is persistency. Now persistency, it's key, because you say you have to keep doing and doing and doing and doing and doing until you get to where you are going, or you get to that point that you want to be. And it's very important we are persistent, because without persistency and resilience, without persistency, we can actually probably hit that mark we're supposed to hit to get that result that we're supposed to get. So persistency is very important, and that is also a characteristic that we must build within ourselves in whatever path we are taking, be it a path that is driven by passion, or a path that is just that you are in because that is where you are getting your resource, or whatever fulfillment you are getting right, and that's where you are getting it from. It might not necessarily be your passion, but you are getting the desired result or something that you need to get at the moment before you probably focus on what you really love and all that. So persistency is also key. But in order not to waste more of your time, one of the ways I feel we can actually challenge ourselves is by reading books. And there is a saying that a man without knowledge is like what? Is like an empty can. So it's very important that we read a lot of books. You find knowledge in books. You find books are kind of like archives from a whole lot of people's experiences, or a whole lot of people's wisdom, or a whole lot of people's knowledge and encounters in life. So and when we read book, we have the opportunity to journey with these people, the authors, in that space, or to kind of like put ourselves in that space where they were when they experienced some of these things that they wrote down. Now yesterday I put on my status, I put one quote like that by one art author. He said something like, we can learn from we can have each other's knowledge, we can learn from each other's knowledge, we can have each other's knowledge, but you can't have another person's wisdom, something like that, if I put it correctly. So knowledge is key. Knowledge is something we can actually acquire and we can get from books, which is very important. Why we must find a way to always read books. Books, not just any kind of books, so books that could challenge us, books that helps us grow and expand our mind, that helps us to just kind of like, do a lot of things and kind of like believe in ourselves and all that. Now, that is one way to actually challenge yourself, reading books. And how do you actually do this challenge? Towards the end of last year, I started the self-growth challenge, which about a couple of people joined me, about 20 of us. They joined me. I started it initially on my own. Then when I realized that it was really fun, and for me it was something I was really pulling myself in, I said, no, I could actually bring people in. So I put it out there for people, for suggestions of people that are interested to be part of it. And a couple of people showed interest, and they joined in the challenge. And this is like the 6th week. What was this challenge? How did I actually do this challenge? So the challenge, what I set was to read a minimum of one book per week. Personally, I read, but I haven't really kind of like, when you work and you do a lot of other things, it's not really easy to say you want to be reading. Sometimes you get so tired and you just want to rest. But I made it deliberate, and I was like, no, I want this. I want to challenge myself. I want to do something out of my comfort zone right now. I know it's not going to be easy with a lot of things that are happening and a lot of things that I do, but I want to actually challenge myself to this. And I said, okay, minimum of one book per week. That was the target and that was the goal. I had kind of like created a lot of libraries and books and all that. And one thing I said is that whatever book you read, just kind of like have 5 bullet points or something that you learned from those books, so that at the end of the day, when we are done with the challenge, was to run for 14 weeks. That's a minimum of 14 books. Now if we are done, we can kind of like make a collage of these 5 bullet points of the 14 books, or minimum of 14, or whatever amount of books that we are able to achieve in this period. So it is very important we challenge ourselves in terms of pursuing and with studying books, because we gain a lot of knowledge from those books. Another thing for me that I think is very important is to purge yourself. What do I mean when I say you should purge yourself? When I say purge yourself, now a lot of times we have people that tell us some things that are not good, or some habits or some character or some things that we have inside us that are not good, and we get very offended by them, because we feel that, how can this person be telling me something like that, this, that, that. But when you purge yourself, you give yourself the opportunity to get to know more about yourself, and to get to even have knowledge of some of the traits that you have, that you get to know by yourself, that, oh, these things are not actually good, and you find yourself having the strength and to remove those things. That's what I mean by purging yourself. You get to kind of like bring out those things that you've realized after some level of, we talked about self-worth, we talked about mindfulness and all. After a level of mindfulness in you, you know that, okay, these are the things that you actually want to let go of, and you challenge yourself to let go of those things. Now, habits, for example, are things that are not easily, you can't just easily drop your habits, but it's a challenge. Like if there's a habit you do not like, it's a challenge for you to purge yourself and say, no, I'm going to let this thing go and I'm going to drop it there. We have met our 10 minutes mark, and we're going to write a little bit more on this maybe in my next video. So I hope this is going to be something very helpful for this month. We're about to enter the month of February. Please, let's challenge ourselves. It is very key for us to challenge ourselves in whatever pursuit. Let's always challenge ourselves. Yes, thank you for listening once again. I remain Messiana, and just click the like button and the subscribe button if you have yet to subscribe to my channel. And it was really awesome again to have a wonderful time with you once more. Please, if you are yet to subscribe, don't forget, just hit this subscribe button. Just hit the subscribe button. You can also turn on your notifications so that whenever I drop any video, it just kind of like get notification of that video. Make any comments, give me anything you want to give me that you feel it's also important for us to challenge ourselves in the rest part of this year. Have a wonderful week ahead. Love you. Bye.